The consistent sound of liquid falling against the concrete echoes throughout the room, while light pitter-patters of small black rats scampering across the floor momentarily distracts the dark shadow sitting in the corner. A small, disturbing smile creeps onto his lips upon hearing the cries of pain when the tip of his shoes sends the creatures in different directions. He has no intention of letting those vile and hungry things ruin his plans. He has waited far too long and worked way too hard for this moment to be different than what he has been imagining. Chains rattle further within the room as she stirs. Soft yet frightful whimpers quickly fill the room. Her head slightly rises, shakes from side to side, as if she can't see the crumbling slime-covered damp walls surrounding her. Well, maybe she can't. At least not much with the blindfold partially covering her eyes. She whimpers ever so softly when his silhouette is outlined by the candelabra. Fear overwhelms the poor girl. Her heart begins to race as she attempts to free herself from the shackles. Her light blue eyes widen as the shadow gracefully moves across towards her weak and semi-broken body. Light bounces off the walls as he raises his hand, a large metal blade reciting in his grip. I was beginning to think you weren't going to wake up.
Where am I?
She croaks. She grimaces from the dryness of her throat, causing his heart to thump wildly against his chest. The sinister man quickly becomes excited as he glides the blade across her left forearm. Tears roll down the side of her face. She refuses to scream, refuses to give in to this sick and twisted game. Hush, silly girl. Talking will only make you weaker, and I plan to keep you for quite some time.
What do you want from me?
I think you know the answer to that.
But I don't even know who you are.
She sobs. Oh, you'll figure it out soon enough. I've been watching you for a while now. Her chest starts to steadily rise and fall, her staggered breathing slowing as she tries to calm herself down. One can only imagine what thoughts are swirling around her mind at the moment. He calmly drags the blade across her chest, daring to further excite himself. He knows, oh, he already knows, that this will be his best work yet. This will be the most memorable muse he's ever had. Long, slender fingers glide through her shoulder-length, blood-soaked, chestnut-colored hair. While his face inches closer to hers, he inhales a deep breath and grins at the precise moment he pulls the satin fabric from her face. Her eyes widen upon seeing him close to her. She must recognize him. She must finally understand what's happening at the particular moment, because she quickly tries to pull away, except those chains rattle with every ounce of strength she can muster up. Poor brittle girl. Instincts won't be able to help her. Nothing can.
This can't be happening. Relationships aren't supposed to end up like this. You don't treat someone you love like this.
She raises her voice.
Why are you doing this, Josh?
Well, maybe because I'm going to love seeing that terrified look in your eyes when you realize no one can hear you. Did you honestly think I would have spent the past year and a half with you if I hadn't been planning something spectacular?
Please let me go.
Oh, you know I can't do that, Melody. He frowns.
I won't tell anyone about this. I'll stay quiet. Just please let me go.
She desperately pleads. Of course not. You are never getting out of here alive anyway. The loud, high-pitched and desperate screams vibrating her vocal cords could make anyone grind their teeth. Her beautiful porcelain skin, stained red, is gouged with the tip of his serrated blade. Blood rolls down her arm, forming a puddle just beneath her, His disturbing, amused cackle causes the hair on the back of her neck to stand up, goosebumps to crawl along her arms as he rips open her skin. Her screams only grow louder each time the blade slowly wiggles its way underneath the flesh. Every small puncture, every burning cut the blade makes sends adrenaline through her. However, she remains trapped in this nightmare. Seeing chunks of her skin being carefully torn off her petite, naked body is too much for her to handle. Her eyelids close and her jaw clenches, most likely from trying not to concentrate on the excruciating pain. Tissue, muscle, veins, and every other gory thing a human body has to offer presents itself to him, making his eyes widen. The glimmer reciting within those deep green eyes is nothing other than sheer joy. Her screams have long since fell silent, yet his smile hasn't faded as he guides her right leg underneath the power saw. The sound of bone cracking ripples through the soundproof garage. The back of his hand slides across his forehead, leaving a streak of crimson on it. He reaches above him, green eyes following the wire line just above his head, while he hangs another large piece of her. The vindictive, evil man picks up a pair of pliers, firmly grabs her detached ankle, and pries the toenails out of their rightful places, cutting her into different-sized pieces and hanging her flesh out to dry gives him the thrill of his life. He has spent nearly 2 years fantasizing about this exact moment, earning her trust, making her think that he loved her. Poor Melody. Poor, sweet, innocent, and dumb Melody. She ignored the signs, ignored his strange obsessive behavior, because deep down she didn't believe he could do something so horrible. Small piece after small piece of her porcelain skin is tossed into a chest of ice. Thick strands of freshly washed chestnut-colored hair is neatly folded before being tucked into a Ziploc bag. Bloody nail clippings are neatly organized in a small leather box made from the previous victim, while the remaining parts of Melody are scattered across his workbench. Josh slowly pulls the dried-out pieces of her down and begins to stretch them over the table he has already made, hand-stitching the exquisite parts together. It won't take long for his masterpiece to be finished, and he's running out of time. Josh carries his fresh leather coffee table out of the garage, shutting out the lights behind him. He is exhausted from a day's long of hard labor. His tired legs carry him through a small hallway of his house, fingers tightly clutching the newest piece of artwork. He places the table in the middle of his living room, just as sirens sound in the distance. What a shame it is to have such nosy neighbors. Too bad he couldn't have taken care of them first. He falls into the body-shaped groove of his couch, folding his arms over his chest, while focusing his attention on the table just before him. And they're getting closer. It's only a matter of time before those police officers bust through the doors. Melody's sweet screams ring in his ears, his eyes trailing along the handmade piece of furniture. She is the love of his life, his work life. Red and blue lights brightly flash outside of his window. Rapid bangs sound on the front door while unfamiliar voices call out for him to surrender himself. Josh remains seated, allowing the officers to break down the leathery doors and enter his safe haven. They have been chasing him for a very long time, missing him by mere minutes wherever he has traveled to. Dozens of innocent women fell prey to his sickened needs. Josh has no intentions to run this time. He wants everyone to see firsthand what he has created. Josh knows that he might spend a few years in prison. He knows that he will most likely be executed for what he's done, but to him, it was very well worth it. A sinister wide smile creeps onto his lips as satisfaction settles upon him. She truly was his best work. Thank you, Melody. Thank you for watching, and if you enjoyed this video, please give a like, leave a comment, and subscribe. Perhaps click the bell for notifications, and remember, hell is empty, and the devils are here.